hear me and everyone is able to see my screen? If possible, can someone please confirm if you are able to hear me clearly and able to see my screen?
Yes.
Okay. So by default, what I'm trying to cover is yesterday what we covered is we covered typically Spring Boot in-memory authentication. What exactly in-memory authentication is nothing but, okay? So we are going to create more than one user and we are going to assign some roles and we are going to control the application with the rules and all the users and the roles which are created in the memory, in the Tomcat memory. It is going to create more everything in the Tomcat memory. Okay. So what are the concepts we learned in that case is we added our own security filter, like web security configure adapter is my security filter. We were able to override. I mean, we are going to leverage that security filter. We are creating our own security filter. Why we need to do that? Because we are having our own authentication object. We are having our own authorization object. By default, security filter is going to take care of our own authentication data, our own authorization data, right? So that is how we are created web security configure adapter, which will point to our own authentication object, our own authorization object. So to create our own authentication object, authentication manager builder, that is our authentication object, which is taking care of where we are creating more than one user. So our use case is we created Naresh IT admin with the password as Naresh IT admin, whose role is admin role. And we created one more user, Naresh IT guest, whose password is Naresh IT guest, right? So we created authentication manager builder with Naresh IT admin and Naresh IT admin as a password. And we use noob keyword. By default, Spring Boot does not understand the typical nature of a password in a plain text. It should be encoded, right? So I'm creating an admin user with this password with admin role. I'm creating a guest user with this password with a guest role. That is why authentication manager, I'm feeding the data. Next one is we were overriding our HTTP security object, which I want to write some rules. Admin role, he can access all tickets method. Guest role can access individual ticket method. So the URL which is having all tickets method, like ticket slash all, which is all tickets method, ticket slash ticket, individual ticket method. This can be accessed by admin role. This can be accessed by admin as well as guest role. In this, I wrote a code CSRF, like cross-site request forgery. CSRF, cross-site request forgery, which I disabled this. Now today my topic is what is CSRF, what is we need, why we need to disable. It is a very, very, very important point and it's not easy to understand also. Okay, but I'll make sure that you will follow clearly. I'll make sure that you will understand clearly. Okay, so this is my agenda for today. Yesterday I've shared the code and everything I've given. As of now, before I proceed further, anyone, any questions till now? Anyone has any questions till now? I hope everyone is able to hear me clearly, right, guys? Everyone is clear, right?
Yes, sir.
Yes.
Okay, thank you. Now, let me go to CSRF. Any have an idea, guys? What is CSRF? Have you heard an idea about any time you heard about CSRF attacks? Little bit idea about CSRF and CSRF attacks?
Yes, sir. At a high level, I have a little bit
Yeah.
idea.
Can you? Whatever you have, it's right or wrong?
Sure. I mean, CSRF is nothing but a cross-site scripting attack where that's this hackers and all will use that method
Mhm,
to to capture your data, and
mhm.
will reuse that one for their own purposes, like and to bring their site down or to use that data and pass it to some other site, something like that.
Mhm. Okay, right. So a counter question will always come. Sir, Spring Boot is completely security, right? We have security enabled, right? Am I right? I'm protecting my application with user ID and password. For example, you have a Gmail account. Without knowing your username as well as password, can I execute a script or can I do any scripting? Any cross-site script can I perform? By default, my application is already protected with a username and password. How CSRF attack is going to be possible at all? You want to inject some script, but you enter into my application. You need to have my user ID, you need to have password, right? And you should have a role also, right? Everyone is getting the point. Whatever the point is correct. CSRF is cross-site scripting. Attackers will choose this option and they will enter some script and they will manipulate the data. That's 100% correct answer. There is no doubt about that. But on top of that, what I am trying to say is already my application is protected with username as well as password is already handled. A attacker cannot come into picture at all. Is that correct?
Yes, sir. What happens is when the first time the user is authenticated and authorized, so there is a cookie session ID will
Yeah.
be stored.
Okay. Yeah, yeah.
They will
So
take.
you're strong in that area. Okay, now I got it. Okay. So in-depth knowledge you have. Cool. I'm going to explain that for everyone. Right. So
Uh,
yeah.
yeah, sir. Actually, I want to say that actually I'm an experienced guy, 2 year experience. Okay, so in previous projects, I seen these things that I copied the cookie and change the password and other things
Hello?
copy and injecting through the postman. So
ఏం లేదంటే ఎక్సెప్షన్ ఎలా రేస్ చేయాలి
so it's the same like that, sir.
Yeah.
సిటీలో ఉంది అదే లింక్ ఓకే
I don't know. Someone is talking actually. Yeah, I think they muted. Yes, similar to that. Correct. But I'm going to explain that. Okay. Those who don't have any idea on this, now it's my choice. I'll explain clearly. Okay. For example, I'm a network hacker. Okay. I want to hack one application. Assuming that which one I'll take best, banking I'll take best, right? So that I'll get money. So I'm going to consider I'm a network hacker. I want to hack a particular banking application. Now, by default, I want to know the flow. Assuming that when person transferring the funds from one account to other accounts, he want to know the flow. What is the request? What is the response? What is it exactly he is looking? What hacker will do? He will take an account in that account. He will take the account in the same bank, and he will do a small transfer to his friend or whatever, just to understand typical flow. Okay. And in the browser, he will observe this request, right? A post call / transfer HTTP code bank.example.com, any bank.example.com, where a J session ID which is a random ID. I will explain that. Okay, which is typically J session ID as well as the co random ID. And amount is equal to three parameters are there. Amount is equal to 100. Routing number is source account number. Account number is destination account number. There are three parameters are there. Source account number, destination account number, as well as routing amount. So these are the parameters he observed, and he is trying to inject a script. This is a script he is having. Form action is equal to https bank.example.com/transfer. This action, right? https bank.example.com/transfer. My method is equal to post. My first parameter is amount. Second parameter is routing number. Third parameter is account. Account, routing number, and I'll hit on a submit button. Ideally, which should inject a script. Right? Now I'll showcase this practically. Not only theory, I'm going to showcase this practical. Okay. So here I'm going to showcase CSR of example. Here one line of code I wrote, right? CSRF should be disabled. I wrote this code, right? http.csrf.disable. I disabled the CSRF. Okay. Now I wrote this code here. This is a Spring MVC application code. I'm running this code. One second. It's taking little time. I'll be, I think it's running. So I'll be on mute. One second. Mr. Ravi Kumar, I hope there is a problem at your end. Sir, everyone is able to see my screen, right?
Yes,
sir.
we do.
Yes. Problem, Ravi Kumar, you only have a problem. Maybe you are not able to see the screen, but kindly re-log in maybe if required. Okay. Yeah. Somehow it is taking a little bit of time. application is started. Okay, my application is getting started here. Now I'll go to localhost colon 8080. Okay, now it is a custom login page. In Spring MVC, I did a custom login page with security. I don't want the normal feature. It's a custom login page. Now I want to register a new user. I want to register a new user, which is equal to, I'm going to take Akhilesh is the username. Akhilesh is the password, which I'm connecting. Submit. So I created my user. Akhilesh is the username. Akhilesh is the password, which I used. So Akhilesh is the username. Akhilesh is the password, which I want to logged in. So localhost colon 8080 slash welcome is my API, right? For example, if I log out and if I enter, it is redirected to login page only, right? For example, if I enter into localhost welcome also, it is redirected to login page. Am I right? So security is protecting every application. Maybe what I am going to write is Akhilesh. This is my username and Akhilesh is my password. Then I was able to log in. Now I'll click on F12. If I click on show employees, so there are 6 employees are available. Employee ID, employee name, all those things. Now here, this is a call will be made. Localhost 8080 get employees. It's a 200 status code. And the response is typically response. Get employee, which I'm getting a response, and preview and all. So this is a method which is going to call, right? Now also F12, I'm going to clear the console. When I click add employee, which is equal to add new employee. So I'm writing add new employee is one API, get employees is another API. Okay. So which will add employee. This will show employees. Add employee as well as show employees. Now I click on add employee. For example, I'm going to add an employee here. Akhilesh. Employee ID is equal to 100. Akhilesh is my name. And I click on submit. So that Akhilesh is the 100, which is came. Am I right? Now if you see here, add new employee. Our payload is employee ID is equal to 100. Employee name is equal to Akhilesh. And I'm hitting add new employee. Okay. And this is my data for adding employee. This is my data for adding an employee. And this is my API. Right, sir? Am I right? For example, I am logging out. Now I'm hitting this API. It will redirect into login page only, right? It is not taking my URL. It is typically protecting my application. Any type you do, if you know the username Akhilesh, if you know the password as Akhilesh, then only you can add an employee, you can show the employees or you can view the employees. Am I right? Till now clear everyone, right?
Yes.
Yes. Now there is a small glitch in this particular flow. What is the glitch is, first time whenever I logged in, okay, like I am logged in, I'll clear the console. Okay, I'm logged in. Now Akhilesh is my username. Akhilesh is my password. Whenever I log in, immediately a J session ID will be generated. Were you able to see the J session ID? This is a J session ID will be generated by the springboot Tomcat. What this J session ID is indicating is that first time you are not authenticated. You are trying to authenticate. You gave Akhilesh as a username, Akhilesh as a password, which is correct. Then every time, whenever you click on add employee, whenever you click on show employees, every time it should not ask for authentication, right? Single sign on. I log into your application only once. Remaining times it should not ask me again username password, again username password. For example, Gmail is there. You typed mail.google.com. It came login page and you enter your login user ID, login password. You're logging in. Whenever you click on compose, whenever you click on sent items, whenever you click on chart, whenever you click on contacts, any of the option, again it is asking username and password. It's not a good one, right? How many times it will ask the username and password? One time. In the session, on the same session, if I enter the username and as well as if I enter my password only once, if I enter the username as well as if I enter my password only once, by default, it will be typically no, I mean, it is typically, it's not used. What Tomcat is doing is it will create a J session ID and the J session ID will be given to the browser. Whenever you make any other request, like add employee, show employee, update employee, delete employee, any other request you are making, follow-up request you are making, it will send the JSession. Not only you need to send, browser will take care, right? It will send the JSession ID and Spring Boot will compare. Is the JSession ID is valid or not? If it is valid, it will not authenticate again. Single sign on, only one time it will be signing in, only one time. Whether user ID password is correct or not, only one time we are going to sign in. Typically, we are going to use this particular feature. So here I am having a J session ID, which is typically have as part of J session ID. If J session ID is when it is generated on successful authentication, whenever I enter my username and password, like Akhilesh and Akhilesh, if I enter my username and my password as Akhilesh, then Tomcat will think that my authentication is correct, which is going to generate a J session ID, which is typically generating a J session ID, and browser will keep this J session ID till the session is getting killed, till the J session get killed. Okay. Now you see here, show now it is a J session ID is what? You cannot remember, right? E6B ends with E6B, right, sir? Now the G section ID is E6B. Am I right? Now you click on show employees. You'll see here again same J session ID will be there, isn't it? Yes or no? I click on add employee. Again E6B. As long as for this session I have J session ID, it will not ask me any further authentication. It's only asked one time. Someone asked me J session ID in the 2 classes before. I told that I'm going to explain. Is it clear? How Spring Boot is taking care of, sir? One time only it's asked my user ID and password. Next time it's not asking. I told that I'm going to explain in 2 classes. Now I am explaining here. J session ID is that which is created here, and it will render to browser. Browser will manage this particular session ID. Is it clear, everyone? Sir, is it clear, everyone, right?
Yes.
Now, what I am going to do is typically here, I am writing a script. Okay. What is my add employee URL? Localhost 8080. Maybe let me log off this session. Okay. Now J session ID will be killed. This is my add employee, right? This is my case with add employee. And employee ID is 100. Employee name is this. This is the data, right? Now you see here form, like I shown in the slides. Form, this is the same code, right? I'm trying to implement. Form method is equal to post. Action is equal to HTTP localhost 8080 add new employee. That's the action. And employee ID is equal to hidden 1000 10,001. Employee name hidden. CSRF test. Submit. And the caption is surprise, surprise, surprise. See what this does. By default, this is a script I'm going to write. Okay. Guys, understand, right? I am writing a cross-site script. Outside script I am writing. Now, if I execute the script, what happens here? We'll see. Surprise, surprise, surprise. See what this does. Nothing is happening. It is coming to login page. Perfectly, it's working, right? It's perfectly coming to login page. There is no impact to my application. But if I log in with Akhilesh, assuming that I logged in, okay. Now you see here, the same script is executed. You're able to see that? 10,001 CSRF test. It is inserted, right? Am I right, guys? The data is inserted here. It is not coming as part of login. As long as if I enter my user ID, if I enter my password, that request will be taken and it is taking care of that. Why it is happening? For example, I am going to insert one more record. 10,002 CSRF test 2. I'm writing things. Okay. Now I will inject this script. Okay. I'm injecting this script. Now if I seek show employees, if you see here, what is the J session ID here? When I click on show employees, now this session ID will be different right here. 3419. This time 3419. And whenever I click this F12, same 3419 it will copy. This is the outside script, but it is also having same J session ID. and you'll see CSRF test and CSRF test came into my database. But these two requests are not logged in, but it coming from cross site. How it is possible? Whenever I log into my application, when I have an active session already in place, which is having valid J session ID, whenever I have an active session with a valid J session ID, somehow I logged into my net banking, have an active session. Immediately I saw a mail. What is that email is coming? That email is typically, hey, surprise, surprise. You will get an email, right? You are the luckiest winner. Please click the following button to get $1,000 into your account. They will mention some steps. Please log into your net banking, check your balance, and click on this button and check your balance. You will add $1,000 extra. That's what they will mention. Is it correct? The main culprit here is whenever you have authenticated session is in place, which is having valid J session ID is already there. And whenever you inject a script on the browser, which is having already J session ID, when J session ID is there, it will not ask for user ID. It will not ask for password. Directly the script will be injected. This problem is called as CSRF. Cross site. I am injecting a script from outside cross site. I am giving a request which is forging my application. Forgery means doing wrong things. I'm inserting the data. So in banking application, if I can hit transfer source account number, destination account number, and I'll take the source account number as one of the top account number, destination account as my number, money will get to my account. So this is how frauds are going to happen with CSRF attacks. Is everyone is clear as of now? Any typical questions here before I proceed further? I explained the word called as CSRF, cross-site request forgery. Any questions, anyone as of now in understanding CSRF? I told that it is not easy, but
once again.
So from where I need to explain, sir, the entire things.
Yeah, entire things.
Did you join late?
No.
Okay.
I couldn't understand your example actually.
Okay.
First portion.
My example is I created application. Okay. I have two APIs. First API is adding a new employee. This is a URL. These are the parameters. Another API is get employees, which will show the employees. These are the two endpoints I have. Add employee, get employee.
Okay.
And I'm injecting a script with the same format. Like my target is same API and the values. Whenever I click this button, okay, ideally, first time you got error that it is redirected to login page. But when I tried with Akhilesh and Akhilesh as a username and password, I already logged in. Once I logged in, I got CSRF token. I got J session ID, which is generated. As long as J session ID is there, it will not authenticate username and password every time. Just now I explained with the Gmail, right? First time only it will check username. First time only it will check password. Now my cross-site script is also injected on top of J session ID. Already logged into my application. On session, I injected the script. so that it will not for authentication, it will not do for anything. Indirectly, it will going to inject the script, which is impacting the data. That is a cross-site request forgery. The problem is you should not have an active session. If you are already logged in with your username and password, and if you inject any script on your active session, you're gone. That's what the hackers will write a mail. Please log into net banking, check your balance, and click on this button and verify your balance. They'll mention step by step. Once you logged in, already you have a J session ID, and when you click on the button, your money is gone. Right? So this is the typical introduction about CSRF. Is it clear, sir? Mr. Prasad, is it clear?
No,
What is that? No. Is that not clear?
not clear. That example, how you explain the first program, the CSR program you started, no?
Okay. So you want me to show again?
Not this thing.
Mhm.
Previous one, previous program.
Okay. This is a program.
Your
Yes.
program, yeah, this one.
Uh-huh. What do you want actually? Can you ask your question in a better way? What do you want? What program you want me to explain?
Your this program, how this program is working, explain once again.
By default, I told that there are two endpoints. Add employee is creating the data. Get
Okay.
employee is retrieving the data. You want
Okay.
to see the code? It's a ticket booking application code only, right? Okay, I'll go. I didn't explain that actually, but as I'll go into that, where you have an employee service. Okay, in employee service, insert employees, save and save all, and in controller, add employee, which I am giving post method, and which I am inserting the data. It's completely Spring MVC application which is taking care of inserting the data into the database.
Okay.
Okay.
Yeah.
It's a normal code only, same ticket booking application code only, nothing else here.
Okay.
Now, yeah. Any other questions here? Anyone?
Yes, Vijay, I have a question. Actually, how hacker will create that script? It should be exactly same as previous, no?
That's what I told, right? I gave an example, right? Mr. Prasad, can you go on mute if you don't
Yeah.
mind? Yeah. As a hacker, he will take a small bank account. So which bank you want to do that? He will take a bank account. He will get username and password, right? And he will see the flow and he'll write a script. That is the knowledge of hacker. He should have some knowledge. That's what I already mentioned actually. Okay. He will do a fund transfer. He will see the network logs. And based on network logs, he can write the code. That's what I here mentioned, right? Same I did, right? This is what my logs. And I wrote a script file based on this. And I shown you executing the script. Clear?
Okay, yes.
Yeah. Any other? As of now.
Sir,
Yes.
you are discussing about phishing attacks.
Yes. Okay.
Sir, is there any for different attacks also we can get the data? Then how we can resolve that? Sir?
Sir, it should be very good. I mean, the question should be, at least someone should understand. For any other attacks, how to do that means what attack? There will be 1 crore
Maybe-
attacks is there in the world. In the 1 crore
Like-
attacks are there.
Man in the middle attack or
Man in the middle is a different attack where it will not come into the web application. It's a completely front end side. Okay.
Okay, sir. Okay, sir.
When you ask a question, the question should be, in this attack, is it going to help me or not? There will be 1 crore attacks are there. How to handle 1 crore attacks means that's not a way to answer, right? Okay.
Yes, sir.
This code is specially taking care of CSRF vulnerability. It's a cross-site script vulnerability only. This will take care, not other vulnerabilities. It is not related to any other vulnerabilities. Only CSRF vulnerability, that is the main top in security, and it's very interesting and lot of interview questions on this area. That's why especially I'm explaining this. Okay.
Okay, okay, sir. Is there any different attacks? We have an option in Spring Boot.
Any application you take, lot of attacks are possible, but that depends on how you write the code. By default, if security module is there, you will never have any attack. If you write a SQL injection, cross-site injection, any kind of injection, it will be by default, the security module is going to protect you. So no need to worry about if Spring Boot is having a security. Okay.
Okay, sir.
So the CSRF attack is on top of that, which I want to explain. For your knowledge only, I created an example. I created this data. I simulated this environment. Blindly, I can explain this slide. I can skip this topic, but I don't want to do that because it's an important point. That's why I am explaining clearly how banking example. In the similar way, I write this code and I wrote this code. Okay. Yes.
Okay, sir. Thank you.
Yep. Now, sir, if I want to stop this, because it's a vulnerability, right? How to stop this vulnerability? Any other questions, guys, before I proceed further?
So stop these vulnerabilities. We are disabling the CSRF, right? While writing the code.
Yes, we are disabling. We are writing the code to disable CSRF.
Just
I'll
to
explain
destroy
that.
the JSON ID, no?
That is nowhere related. Even you enable or you disable JSession ID, nowhere related. By default, JSession ID will be comes always, whether you enable CSRF, whether you disable CSRF.
If we disable the CSRF, whenever attackers inject this code, they will not get that JSON ID, no?
Sir, JSession ID by default it will come, sir, irrespective of CSRF. Okay. If you enable CSRF or if you disable CSRF,
that
if you are
will
not,
come. That will come. My question is that attackers will not get the same session ID, no? By disabling.
every time they will get a new session ID. Every time, whenever a new session is opened, first of all, that's what I'm kindly listen to my answer. CSRF enable disable, nowhere related to getting a new session or getting old session. Whenever you open a new browser, new session will be generated. Okay. Session ID will be generated by Tomcat that will be rendered to the browser. That is nowhere related to CSRF. If you enable it or if you disable it, by default, it will not have any impact at all. Whenever you open a new browser, new session ID will come. The session ID will be live in that particular session. If you close the browser, your session will be gone. Whenever you open a browser again, when you log in, a new session ID will be generated. Is that clear?
It is clear. My question is like, when we are logged on, okay, there will be one session, JSON ID, right?
Correct.
And at that time, and when attackers inject this code, they will get the same session ID. No?
Correct.
Then
same session ID. Yes.
They will get the same session. Then only they will inject, right?
Correct. Then only they can inject the data.
If they are writing the code like CSRF disabled, okay.
I didn't explain. I'll going to explain how to avoid that. I have not explained that. Now follow-up question. I not explained that, right? I only shown a problem. As of now, I only shown a problem. Okay, how to solve the problem? If at all, if I enable security, what happens? I didn't explain it. I'm going to explain that. Okay, it's a good question. I got now your question. Okay, as of now, I only shown a problem. Like I disable CSR. When CSRF is disabled, automatically where on active session data is injected and we were able to see the data. But when CSRF enabled, what is happening? How it is solving the problem? I need to explain that. I have not done that yet. Okay.
Okay.
Yeah. Any other question? Any other questions on understanding CSRF, understanding the concept, understanding the vulnerability, understanding the phishing, all those? Okay. Now, what happens is, if we stop this application, okay, now while writing the code, okay, sir, I am writing the code now. If I comment this disable, I'm commenting this disable, guys. That means what? I comment this disable part means CSR will be enabled, right?
Yes.
I commented this disabled part. That means CSR will be enabled. Now I will run the code. Okay. I'm going to run the code. I will clear all the things. So I'm logging in. Akhilesh is my username. Akhilesh is my password. / welcome. Sometimes it's not coming. So show employees. There are 2 extra records are there, which I'm taking F12. I'm clicking on show employees. Now what is my CSR of here? DBD. It starts with DBD, right? You'll see here again, show employees, DBD. Now, what I am going to do is I'm clicking a new browser. Here, 10,003 CSRF test 3. This is my code. Okay. I'm writing this. Okay. Already have an active session. Show employees, which is DBD. Okay. And I'm clicking this button. What is it? You saw that? Forbidden error. You saw that? I already have active session here. I enable the CSRF. It is giving me forbidden error. This script cannot be executed. You don't have access. Understand, right? It is solving the problem of CSRF. But what is the solution? I'm going to explain. It will take minimum 10 minutes of time. Okay. What exactly the solution I'm going to cover. But whenever you enable CSRF, the external script attack on a authenticated session also will be stopped. If your session is already authenticated, on top of that, if anyone is executing a script, the script will be internally disabled and you'll get an error like forbidden error. You don't have access. the record will not be inserted at all. Okay, the record will not be inserted at all. Can we see that? So 3 didn't came, right? Yes or no? Show employees. Same DVD is there. And this session is not shared to here. Understand? Whenever you hit it, it giving you a new screen, which is not at all possible. Now it is having a DVD screen where you should not allow that. So this is where CSRF is going to be possible. But I'm going to explain clearly what is the how the solution is achieved and what is the right way to code a code. Is it CSRF means? I'm going to share it to you. As of now, I will share this code, CSRF code. I will share, guys, everyone. Okay. Tomorrow I will explain the solution to the CSRF problem. When I enable, what happens? That I am going to explain.
Sir, quick question, sir. So the script which you executed now after enabling the CSRF, so the script initially it given 403 error, but after you refresh, it is again taken back to that employee page, right?
Previous request will process, right? Previous request, I refreshed it. I logged in. My previous request will be processed, right? Isn't it? Sir, I got an error, but I logged in. On login, it will take the request, right?
Yeah.
So that's how it.
So that means the script still allow you to log in, but it did not allow to execute the operation.
No, already data is inserted, but you are not able to log in.
Okay.
You can try this. Okay, already data is inserted, but you are not. I'll show you also. Maybe I'll take care in tomorrow. I'm going to showcase that also again. Okay.
Sure. Thanks.
Show, which is CSRF example. I'm sharing this code. And also security slide, I've shared it or not, but let me share. So I added Angular integration. It's for different batch. For you, it came, guys. I need to remove that. So for you, it came Angular integration actuators. It is not for your batch. I'm deleting. Okay, guys, fine. Tomorrow we'll see. Thanks everyone for today. We'll
Sir,
meet
can
tomorrow.
you also share that script also, sir? If you
Okay. Yeah, sure. Definitely. It
Okay.
makes sense. It makes sense. Sorry, I forgot actually. Yes. I'm going to share the script. Kindly you practice this. Okay. So it's in desktop. Let me go to. Yeah, I saved it. Okay, cool. Thanks everyone. We'll meet tomorrow. Have a great day. Thank you.
Recording stopped.